Hello there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the extra tease of the tease for Lightspeed tonight that you've already seen, no doubt, a couple of times by now because I keep accidentally clicking on it instead of the intro titles. But hello and welcome to another smooth start for the Geeknd Live. Now, we have got a bit of a discussion tonight. There'll be no geek salad. There ain't much news out there, to be honest. News. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion, but I hope you are well wherever you are on this football we call planet Earth. Welcome to the Geeknd Live. Another week of alleged entertainment. I can see some familiar faces and names in the chat. We've got David Milano. He's here. Tristan Peterson is here. Also, Sige, my man, is here as well. Oi, oi to you, Sige. That teaser, I know, that teaser that I keep on teasing you with, the same old teaser, but that will change. That will change next week. You might get some fresh tease. Right, okay, so we are going to, tonight, wherever you are in the world, this morning, this afternoon, good afternoon to you, we are going to talk about Star Wars and the MCU. Not like a versus kind of thing. Just want your kind of personal take on which franchise you're most excited for in terms of the future that they're currently offering you. And I asked this question after we've had really our first taste of Disney Plus life, at least for both of them. We've had The Mandalorian, 2 seasons now. We've had WandaVision for MCU on Disney Plus. So my question is, which franchise, in terms of their future, foreseeable future, are you most excited by in terms of their offerings? And this topic has been inspired by Chad for Stopwatch Campbell, who I don't believe is in the chat yet, but I can see some more of you who've just joined us. Hello, Sanely Red, my friend. Kino's here as well. Post dog walk, I'm sure. Simon D is in the house. Simon, we're going to talk about you in a moment as well, actually, in regards to something you said last week on the stream. Brad Snoke is here, as is Gaz Nottingham already putting in his answer to the topic. So I will come on to going through the schedule, if you like, for Star Wars, for MCU, the schedule that we know so far. So we'll come on to that shortly. And just let me know in the chat which you're most looking forward to, the future of Star Wars or the future of MCU, and tell me why as well. You can be equally excited for both. That is plausible. That is fine. I have a preference to one than the other, which I will reveal later as well. And if you're watching in the future, i.e. on the replay, let me know what it's like out there, and also let me know in the comments what you think towards this alleged entertainment topic for this week's Geeknd Live. So yeah, this came up really from Chad, the Stopwatch Campbell. Of course, he's usually here to help me fail at delivering a 30-minute show. I'm not sure he's here at the moment, so this is going to be a Tolkien-like stream. He posted on my WandaVision review. I've put a link in the video description to my WandaVision just overall season 5 minutes thoughts. And he posted what he labeled as a controversial comment. Where is it? I've got it here, and I'm not trying to show him up here. I'm not trying to show him up because it's actually inspired the topic of this stream. I don't know why I'm the background, but fine, we'll carry on. In case you've got it on like a really small screen, I will read what Chad said out. Chad said, this will be, and again, on my WandaVision review video, this will be controversial, but I liked it, WandaVision, more than Mando. Now, I don't think that's controversial. I'll come on to my thoughts in terms of comparing the two later on. Difficult to compare them, very different things. But it's not controversial. You know, this channel is not exclusively a Star Wars channel. It does so happen to be 90% probably Star Wars related. So you don't need to fear any kind of wrath, certainly from me here, Chad. Anyway, he goes on for his reasons. In fact, we'll come on to the reasons later. But just putting that comparison out there just got me thinking, you know, both franchises have a lot on paper in terms of what they're going to be offering us, mostly on Disney Plus. And I know some people's emotions are high, particularly with Star Wars at the moment. And I'm just wondering, which franchise are you most excited about based on what they've shown you in terms of the taste of the future that they've already given you? So Mandalorian on Disney Plus for Star Wars, and I suppose the final Clone Wars season, although that was a continuation of something that existed already, and WandaVision, the first Disney Plus outing for Marvel. So based on what you've seen so far, what are you most excited about moving forward? So I'll come over to the chat soon to get deep into that, but a bit of housekeeping first. If you are new here, I imagine you haven't lasted the first 8 minutes if you're new here, but this is the Geeknd Live. The Geeknd delivers regular, soon to be even more regular, movie-related content, lots of Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars, don't subscribe for your own good, I guess, but also Marvel and more as well. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, and all over the social medias. If you're on the social medias, come see us on the other social medias that aren't the YouTubes, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as well. So the final bit of housekeeping is in regards to Simon D, who is in the chat. Now, I've put a link in the video description to the video that I'm about to talk about, as well as my WandaVision review, by the way. Now, do you remember, if you were here last week, you might remember Simon mentioned, I can't remember what we were talking about, but anyway, Simon brought up, I'm sure there was a point to it. Simon brought up about a deleted scene or footage that existed of Sith being referenced in A New Hope. Now, that was news to me. Didn't know about this footage, and also a bit of a surprise to me because, to be honest, I'm a bad Star Wars fan. I always assumed that Sith was a prequels term, to be honest. You know, this whole thing about George always having the 6 films, the 9 films, in fact, mapped out to a certain extent. I've always taken out with a pinch of salt, you know. Sure, you might have a skeleton draft of an idea, but I never thought he had that much of a detailed plan, you know, in terms of names like Sith. Turns out he did, because not only was Sith as proven by Simon. By the way, this will be on record, this will be on last week's stream, I never doubted Simon. Simon is basically, I would say, a film historian. He knows his stuff. And it is in the script. It's in the original script for the Star Wars. Sith. Sith was the name of the bad Jedi, the Dark Jedi. So that's cool. That is cool. But also, it actually made it onto screen, at least onto film that didn't make it onto screen. Simon sent me a link. Do you know, there was a bit of confusion, a bit of surprise. I don't know if I was the only one who didn't know that Sith was actually not exclusive to the prequels. So I don't know if the shared surprise was more that there was footage out there with Sith being said in the original Star Wars film, or if, like me, you were surprised just in general that Sith was a historic thing, prequels. Oh, it's complicated, this Star Wars talk. But anyway, Simon delivered. He sent me a link to a documentary on YouTube, which I have linked to in the description. It's on Film Spaced. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Star Wars: The Lost Cut Explained is the name of the video. Really interesting documentary, actually. It's more about the editing process of the original Star Wars. So if you're into that side of things, then you will enjoy the documentary in general. But Simon kindly sent me a timestamp, and I can share with you that around the 12-minute, 20-second mark is where you will see and hear the word Sith said in the original Star Wars film. How much of it is this just a surprise to me? Like, you know, should I be doing a video about this? Like a standalone video about this? You know, is this big news, or is it just me? It's quite possibly just me being behind the times, as usual, still catching up on Clone Wars. But anyway, it's in the. I mean, it's not a deleted scene as such. It's I suppose you see an extended version of the scene in The New Hope where Vader, for the first time, produces the old Force choke. You know, in the Imperial kind of boardroom. The guy with the bowl cut hairstyle. Don't know his name, actor name or Imperial name. The one who, you know, actually, it's quite interesting because he's the one who says Sith anyway, the one with the bowl cut. I'm sure you know who I mean. He doesn't just drop the S-bomb, which was a revelation for me, but he also, in a way, makes Rogue One more relevant in terms of Tarkin, because he starts, giving Tarkin jip about the Death Star being a vanity project of his own, which, of course, is something that's covered in Rogue One. So really interesting. So thank you, Simon, for sending that over. And I hope you guys, if you're up for it, if you're interested, go and check it out as well. I have no affiliation, obviously, with the YouTube channel, but it's a really good documentary. And thank you, Simon, for providing the mystery in the first place, but also unraveling it for us as well. So, yeah, that was definitely news to me. So I'm going to come over to the comments in a moment. Just a reminder that the topic is off the back of seeing The Mandalorian and now WandaVision. We've had our first offerings, our first taste of the new era of Star Wars and the MCU, particularly on Disney Plus, which seems to be the main direction for both of them. Which one are you most looking forward to? So let me know in the chat. This is inspired by Chad, the stopwatch Campbell, who's not even bothered to turn up tonight, but we're doing it for him anyway. He didn't ask for this, actually. But he shockingly said he preferred WandaVision to The Mandalorian. I will put that comment up again and we'll get his views because he's not going to be here to put them in live, it seems. But I want to know what you guys think. And let's take a look first, before I come over to the chat, at what both franchises have got coming up. I'm not going to go into talking synopsis about them all because there's loads. We'll be here all night. And we're already 14 minutes in. But this is MCU, first of all, and I'll come on to Star Wars in a moment. I made this myself. So all of the spelling mistakes were done by myself. But I made the graphic. I'm very proud of myself. Anyway, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, Marvel is full steam ahead. That starts on, I can't see now because I've got like a timer covering it, but I think it's March the 19th. Tell me if I'm wrong. March the 19th, 2021. Followed, surprisingly, not on Disney Plus. That's not the surprising bit, because obviously it was always meant to be a cinematic release. Black Widow. Now, what I say is surprising is they are apparently sticking to that May the 7th date for a theatre-only release. And coming from a UK point of view, that's quite a surprise because we're a small country, but we're actually a huge market for Marvel, for Disney, for all the big film companies. And our cinemas, at the earliest, aren't going to open till I think it's mid-May. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, which I often am. But anyway, mid-May at the earliest, because our government, having been too slow to put in COVID measures and responses, in the past anyway, we're now being too slow to come out of them, which, I haven't a problem with. I'm of the opinion it has to be the last form of lockdown that we ever have. So let's just get it right before we unlock too soon. So anyway, the cinemas here aren't going to open at the earliest until mid-May. So there was a lot of talk that date would be pushed back again because the UK market is important. Or there'd be a Disney Plus, some simultaneous release. But no, apparently they're sticking to that May 7th cinemas only for Black Widow. Loki, June 11th. Trailer looks great. It looks a lot of fun. Looks weird as well. I like weird. And that was one of the best things about WandaVision for me. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I believe that's a cinematic release, June 25th. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I know Sidge in the chat will be excited about some kung fu action there. That's July 9th. What If, summer 2021. I think that's more of like a little, maybe animated miniseries. Summer 2021. So look, they've got a lot coming out close to each other. And I think that's partly pandemic related, to be honest. Certainly is for Black Widow and I believe Loki as well. The Eternals going into the winter, and then Spider-Man as well just before Christmas. So that's the first WandaVision slate I've got. I can't see the top one because once again, the live logo I've got, I guess you've got it as well, is covering it. I can't remember what it was. So this is great. This is going really well. But anyway, Miss Marvel, late 2021. Morbius, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think that's shooting in the UK at the moment, and that was delayed. And that's going to be the continuation of Wanda's story. Anyway, Thor, Love and Thunder. There's been a few set pictures released recently, or leaks at least. That looks fun. Black Panther 2. Spider-Man animated there, Into the Spider-Verse sequel, Captain Marvel 2. So there's a lot, and not just a lot, there's a lot of dates there for the MCU. Now, if you move over to Star Wars, which I will, there's almost as much, but there's not as many dates. There's not as many firm dates. So the Bad Batch we've got coming on May the 4th this year. The Book of Boba Fett, December sometime this year. And that's it for this year. Now, that's not me having a go at Star Wars because, to be honest, I think, like I said before, the reason there's so much back-to-back MCU content is mostly pandemic related. But yeah, a lot less Star Wars, and some of that is surely pandemic related. I know Andor, which at the moment is being talked about at some point in 2022. I know that certainly they're shooting in the UK at the moment, but that's had its fair few hold-ups due to the pandemic. But The Mandalorian season 3, we don't know. That's a question mark for 2022. Ahsoka, we don't know. Rangers of the New Republic, we don't know. I mean, is that going through a bit of a behind-the-scenes change at the moment with the Gina Carano stuff? Kenobi, the one I'm probably most looking forward to there. No date has been announced yet, but they are, I believe, starting to shoot this month if they haven't already. Second page for Star Wars, The Acolyte. I'm very intrigued by The Acolyte. I want me some dark side action. Rogue Squadron, so that is the next Star Wars cinematic release. So like MCU, you know, the focus is very much Disney Plus heavy. We'll go on to the other movies in a moment, but I'd say it's probably even, isn't it? How many big screen Star Wars versus how many big screen MCUs there are. Lando, we don't know much about. Star Wars Visions, I think that's like an anime type thing. A Droid Story, I believe, is an animated 3PO R2D2 thing. Taika's untitled movie. We know nothing about that, just that Taika's involved. Kevin Feige, I believe, is still down for his Star Wars movie. Rian Johnson trilogy, just one. Well, it's not a big question mark, is it? But there's a little question mark there, but it is a question mark overall. So that's what we have got. That's what we've got slated for both franchises. And I mean, particularly on the MCU side, that's going to keep, if you're into that thing, keep you very, very busy. They've got a lot more of a solid plan in terms of a release schedule than Star Wars, but obviously Star Wars will catch up. You know, release dates will soon be added. We live in unprecedented times, so we can't hold that against Lucasfilm. But to be honest, Marvel, obviously, because everything MCU, their schedule is probably more important than Star Wars because things overlap more in terms of characters and storylines, although I imagine that's going to start happening with Star Wars, particularly the series that are set within the same time frame-ish. So what's that? Ahsoka, New Republic, and Mandalorian, I suppose. So we'll start getting some more overlapping where their release dates have to be, tactically planned. But I suppose with the MCU, there's a bit of danger of fatigue. For some, maybe the more casual MCU fans, the danger of getting a bit fatigued by all the Marvel stuff so close together. There was talk of that with The Last Jedi, wasn't there? When Solo came out, 6 months after or something. Now, I don't really believe that was Star Wars fatigue. I still consider, look at my hair. Now, I mentioned the cinema's not opening till like mid-May. I think the hairdressers, the barbers, are mid-April. So you got a bit longer, I'm afraid, to cope with these rat tails on these live streams. I don't think that was fatigue for Star Wars. Generally, the casual fans, I think a lot of casual fans maybe just didn't know enough about Solo. Obviously, it didn't have quite the same hype as The Last Jedi. And obviously, a lot of people were very disappointed by The Last Jedi and were put off going to see Solo. So I don't think Solo's, I don't want to say lack of box office success because it still did well, but compared to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, I don't think its slowness there was down to general Star Wars fatigue. I think that was quite specific to The Last Jedi effect, if you like, with some people. But yeah, I'm again, there are more things on the Marvel list in terms of release dates, but there's also more things on the Marvel list that I personally am less interested in. I'd watch the majority of what I've mentioned tonight on that list, but definitely more on the Star Wars list, and more like I'm going to be there waiting, for the moments it goes live. I'm not big into Spider-Man, to be honest. Never have, whether it's live action, animated. But WandaVision has left me. This is my take. I'm Star Wars. I'm looking forward to, for me, Kenobi is, I think, the shining light in terms of what I'm most looking forward to. I'm coming over to the chat in a moment, but let's just talk about me for now, all right? And then we'll get back to me, and then maybe more about me. And I'm slowly, my excitement is building for more projects beyond Kenobi. I'd take Mandalorian free before the Book of Boba. I really would. But I'm getting more interested in Ahsoka the more I'm getting through Clone Wars. I can't say I'm at the stage where I'm excited for the Bad Batch because I'm still getting through Clone Wars. But I might get there. I don't think I'll ever get there to the same level with the animated, to be honest, as I do with the live action. But Andor, at first, I wasn't really bothered about the idea of Andor, but the more I think about it and the more crossovers to certain prequel characters, original characters that we might get, that interests me as well. And I think, Andor's got a lot of potential, a lot more potential than I really thought about to begin with when it was first announced, and I a little bit dismissed it. So no, I mean, I love Star Wars, the characters and the universe more than the MCU. So I'm biased, basically. I am Star Wars first in terms of what I'm looking forward to, but MCU gives us solid dates so we can plan our lives. We need more of that from Star Wars. But I will say WandaVision has left me wanting Star Wars to do more in terms of its creativity. And I think this is something Chad said as well. I'll find his message in a moment when I come over to the chat. I do feel Star Wars, I would like Star Wars to be less restricted now in its kind of format and themes even. The Skywalker saga is done. I don't see why. The Mandalorian, has to be slightly constrained because it's in a particular time frame that we sort of know, and it's between obviously two trilogies. But when we're going off to these different time zones, if you like, I want them to, surprise us. I want them to go weird. That was the best thing about WandaVision. It was those first 5 episodes, perhaps, before it became a bit more standard MCU. I was still entertained. I still enjoyed it overall, but those first 5 episodes, the first 3 episodes, part of me was thinking, I don't know how long I'm going to, stick with this sitcom vibe, if this is indeed the whole vibe of the whole series. But it did keep me hooked. It did keep me intrigued. It was just bizarre, but I loved it. And it's just left me wanting Star Wars to go, where appropriate, to be a bit more adventurous, a bit more weird, because Star Wars should be weird. I mean, it is weird, really, but it's sort of kept itself within, a certain mold. I want them to break the mold. But then part of me wonders, does Star Wars have the confidence to do something a bit out there, like MCU with WandaVision? I'm not sure about that. The Last Jedi was a strange Star Wars film, within, an established format, if you like, of a Star Wars, a Skywalker film anyway, in that saga. It was a gamble in a way, and they might, even though I enjoyed it, they might feel it was a gamble that didn't pay off. Because obviously not everybody enjoyed it, and that's fine. So I do wonder if Star Wars has the confidence to actually go off and do something a bit crazy. But then there's potential, especially with Taika's film, and obviously if Rian Johnson does get his trilogy, and that's, I've said before, where I think he'll be best placed just to go off with his own toy box really and do his own thing with new characters. Right, I'm coming over to the chat, but first of all, let's just see what now Chad didn't answer the question. He's not answering the question here about whether he's looking forward to what MCU have to offer off the back of WandaVision over what Star Wars have to offer over the back of The Mandalorian. But he is just explaining why he preferred WandaVision to Mando. And I do agree. I preferred Mando to WandaVision, but I do agree with what Chad's saying here. In terms of WandaVision, he said way more diverse filmmaking and acting styles than Mandalorian, literally having to change things every episode while still maintaining a narrative And that the writing's too small. I need glasses, and that can always give things an edge for me. It also, first seasons compared, made everything matter. Half of the first Mando season matters, half the skipper calls side quests. This whole thing was a story. I think we're talking WandaVision here, engrossing and involving. It managed to be a Marvel sequel, contain a huge amount of emotion, and serve as a big tribute to classic TV shows. Not perfect. The last episode was actually the least interesting to me, but still a solid 8.5 out of 10 for WandaVision from Chad Campbell there. And I do agree. I think I've said that before. It was more diverse in terms of its filmmaking, its story, its way of telling the story, and I'll agree. Season 2, I think, had a lot less side questy type episodes for The Mandalorian. But yeah, when you think back to the first season, a lot of it, in terms of the overall story, some details did come back to mean something with The Mandalorian. But I think, yeah, generally there were some pretty kind of episodes that you could skip and not really miss out on any vital clues for where the story's going. So I'm, there's not going to be a WandaVision season 2 as far as planned at the moment. So obviously I'm looking forward to what The Mandalorian has next, as opposed to nothing from WandaVision. But if there was going to be a WandaVision season 2, I think I'd still be wanting to know what's going to happen with Grogu next, and Din and the Darksaber, etc. But anyway, let's see what you guys think. And if you're just joining us, the question is, based on WandaVision and The Mandalorian, these two big franchises, first outings on Disney Plus, which one are you most looking forward to moving forward? Right, so Simon, I don't think Simon's a big MCU fan, so I imagine he'd be Star Wars. But yes, Vigo's in the house. He's in the shed, more likely. I just keep saying house. I keep saying house to make me feel like, things are more grander than they are right now. But one day we'll get a house, people. I will come to you from a house. I might even come to your house and do like a live show tour. But yeah, Vigo's in the house. The picture fell down. If you remember me complaining about it last week with the bear wall last week. And I had this picture. The same time I got the Mandalorian picture, I got this one printed as well. It just felt like the time to have a little change for now. I love Vigo. I love Ghostbusters too. Dale's here. Hello, Dale. Right, Sige is the first one that I can see here to talk about what we've been talking about. So Sige says, I think Star Wars has always been my truest love, but I've grown up reading Marvel comics. I'm pretty excited for both. TBF, to be fair, right? Yeah, that's fine. You can be equally excited for both. There's a lot on that Marvel slate that I am excited for, but I just think overall, Star Wars, learning. Right, I think we're back. Sorry about that. There's always something, isn't there? And it's always Sige. I'm sure whenever Sige puts a comment on the screen, or when I put Sige's comment on screen, it just everything breaks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning new things about characters we know, and I'm also really keen to see some completely new worlds and meet new characters in Star Wars. And like I said before, not be sort of not have what's come before sort of chain to you. But yeah, you can absolutely be excited for both. That's fine. Tristan, Marvel. I'm surprised from you, Tristan, but it's not a problem. I'm not here to judge. You are looking forward to what MCU have to offer, based on that they just have more coming. Star Wars does have some very exciting things in the future. Yeah, like I don't know if it's fair to say Marvel have more coming. I think it's fair to say that Marvel have more information about what's coming. Yeah, I think it's fairly even. Maybe there's a bit more Marvel actually. But yeah, I mean, it's harder to get excited about some of the Star Wars stuff when we just have no idea when we're going to see it. And let's be honest, in this era of Star Wars, projects have been announced and vanished quite quickly, haven't they? So yeah, I think maybe you can trust the Marvel slate a bit more than the Star Wars one. And perhaps that comes down to it as well, because maybe you just, seeing is believing. I want to see a release date before I get too excited about this thing that you've hinted towards. Here's Simon. I've only seen about 3 Marvel films, which didn't do much for me, to be honest. So more keen on Star Wars content. Yeah, I've said this before, and I think people acted at me a bit. I'm not like, I like the Avengers films, for example, but that's not my favorite. I know it's the most famous cinematic Marvel content, but it's not my favorite. I really got into the Netflix, the series on Netflix, the Jessica Jones, and what else is on? Luke Cage. I really got into those. What's happened to those? They're not even on Disney Plus, are they? And they're not on Netflix anymore, anyway, in the UK. Siege again. I'm kind of glad that Marvel has chewed through a lot of the big names, and they're going to throw some shine to the lesser known names, properties that could maybe do with having their characters updated. Yeah, I suppose that's the great thing. If you, like Sidge, grew up reading the comic books, there's so much to play with still in terms of bringing those comic book characters to screen, which I suppose Star Wars doesn't have as much of a back catalogue to call upon. But of course, they can just invent. There's always that. Brad Snoke, obviously most excited for Star Wars. Would love to keep getting that great Marvel content on par with WandaVision, which could sway my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm not. I really feel like I should be coming off. I did come off WandaVision on a buzz still. I did enjoy it, even though the finale wasn't consistent for me anyway with the rest of the season in terms of my enjoyment levels and originality. But I feel like I should be a bit more excited about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and obviously the legacy of Captain America. But I don't know. I just, for me, that looks like it's going to be very standard MCU, and I just think after WandaVision, I want more of that weird stuff. But I will be watching it. I won't be doing weekly reviews of that. I'll do like a season review of that, or maybe a midway season, and then a final season review. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? I don't. Tristan, I will say so far, Star Wars has had better content, but that's just because they've had more on Disney Plus. Certainly, yeah. This is regarding the Sith term, whether it was coined back in the past, which it's now been proven. It was proven to be a 70s reference, not a prequels reference. Sidge, regarding Lucas's plan, don't believe George had it mapped out. There's a deleted Empire scene that he would have not made if he was planning on Luke and Leia being siblings. Yeah, I think there's certainly details that were not in the plan, but I think he probably had a loose, roadmap there for 6 films, 9 films. But yeah, there's certainly some inconsistencies still. Dale, I prefer the Star Wars franchise for a selfish reason. Oh yeah, typical Dale. What is it? Here it is. I've always loved Marvel comics, but dislike that the films have become so popular. I want Marvel to go back to having a small fan base. Be like me and just like the, well, I don't just like, but just talk about the Luke Cage and the Jessica Jones series. Be like me, because I feel like I'm in the minority there. Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is still popular, It's hardly a small niche thing, is it? But it is Star Wars. Would you say Star Wars is more? I suppose Marvel is more popular, isn't it? Certainly, it's done more at the box office. Endgame. I read that Avatar is going to come back and overtake Endgame, but Endgame is the highest grossing film of all time, isn't it? Avatar, man, I didn't like Avatar. I've like the first time I went to see it, I didn't like it, but it was because it was tainted with disappointment, because my dad, who was taking me out when I was a lad, wasn't even that long ago, was it? He booked the wrong showing. He booked a normal showing, so it wasn't the 3D showing, and obviously that was what this was all about, this new technology. So I was a bit like disappointed by that. So I didn't really give the film a chance. But then I did see it again in 3D, and it's all right. Yeah, it's like why did Titanic make so much money? But yeah, I suppose Marvel probably is a bigger thing, certainly financially than Star Wars. But anyway, Dale, thank you. David Milano, I get obsessed with whatever is currently playing. Be in the moment, man. Live in the moment. Oh, The Punisher Netflix series as well. I enjoyed that too. That said, back to David Milano, that said, Star Wars fandom goes back a bit further. So it hooked in deeper and always takes priority. Yeah, you know what? Like, I've said this before, I think, but for me, Star Wars is about, it feels like it's always been there throughout my life. Like my older brother who had the original Star Wars toys and some comics and that, but I don't think he was a big Marvel fan. So I didn't grow up with those comics lying around, before I got into that kind of thing off my own back. But before I got into that kind of thing off my own back, there was Star Wars toys lying around and there were Star Wars films on the telly box at Christmas. It was always there in the background of my life. And each, as I've got older and understood it more, each release takes me back to a moment in time, So yeah, the fandom for Star Wars does go back a bit further for me too. And I suppose that's where my loyalty lies. I've admitted to being absolutely biased here. Right. Were you in timeout? When were you? I haven't put anybody in timeout. Mr. McDinglebury. I've never put anybody in timeout because I don't know how to do it. That would be multitasking to a level that I am not capable of, to be able to do what I'm already struggling doing and putting you in timeout. How does that even happen? How does that even work? But we'll see. We'll see how many times, I guess. Let me know as well. What's this? What's this from Dale? I remember reading the John Carter of Mars novels and being surprised at reading about giant killer insects called Sith. There we go. It's spreading. Mr. McDinglebury, I'm putting you in timeout, my friend. How dare you? How dare you bring up the Bible on my show? That's fine. Hey, Nikolaki. Even Stevens. Equal excitement for both what MCU are offering and also Star Wars as well. Simon D, on the guy's channel, there's also, this would be the channel with the documentary that mentions the word Sith, shows the scene. Go and check that scene out. Like I said before, it's interesting as well, the Tarkin comment also. So you're saying there's also videos on the playlist only where it breaks down all the changes for the 3 originals as well as prequels. McClunky, to you too. No, I think Hawkeye is Hawkeye. No, Hawkeye is a series, isn't it? It's not a movie. I think it is a series. Someone will correct if I'm wrong. I'm not skipping ahead with it. I know I've traveled back in time in terms of reading out these comments, but I'm not skipping ahead. So I'm sorry if people have already answered these questions. But people on replay can't see the chat necessarily. So I'm doing it for you, people on replay, people of the future. No, I think the Hawkeye thing is a series. Who hasn't got a series at this point? The Sarge, regarding the Lost Cut documentary. Check it out. No, it was honestly, I initially just skipped to the time code that Simon sent me regarding the Sith, and I kept watching beyond that for a bit. The Tarkin thing really hooked me in, and then I went back to the start and watched it from there. It's really good. It's really good. Check it out. I've linked to it in the video description. Yeah, no, it's definitely confirmed. I think it's is that the anime thing? But it's definitely confirmed. Hey, Matthew Stokes. Proud of my slides? I'm proud of my slides. Thank you, Matthew. I'm glad you like my slides. Alexandra Star is here as well. I'm bad with pronunciations. I'm learning. This life is about learning. For me, it's just learning to talk properly. Andrej, you already have an MCU fatigue, but I'm really just a casual superhero moviegoer. Mate, you are going to be shattered. I think even by the end of May, you're going to be absolutely exhausted because Like it's relentless for now, the MCU stuff. Again, I think that's down to pandemic. So have a good rest, all right? Because you're going to need it, I think. Mr. J86, I could never have enough Star Wars, but I do like waiting a while for the movies at least. Building up the hype is part of the fun. Yeah, that's Andrej just mentioned fatigue already, and he's saying he's a casual MCU fan. You're a big Star Wars fan, I know, Mr. J. So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Like you don't want to get fatigue, for something that you love. And I agree that was, we went from like waiting like decades for a new Star Wars films to then being promised them once a year. Obviously, that didn't really work out in the end, although we had it for a bit, didn't we? With Rogue One and Force Awakens, that was a year, and then there was the 6 months between The Last Jedi and Solo. But yeah, no, I suppose there does need to be a bit of a balancing act. But then again, in terms of streaming, you watch it when you want. If you're tired, just take a break for a bit. And Matthew Stokes, just to confirm, has gone for Star Wars over MCU. I think most people here in the chat are edging towards Star Wars over MCU, and I'm happy to hear that. But look, there's a lot I'm very excited about in the MCU, more so because of what WandaVision, did. But I'm seeing a lot of, I think a lot of people aren't happy with Star Wars at the moment, politically at least, and have suggested that that's going to, stop them watching the new stuff. And I'm just interested if that's something that they actually follow through with. You might cancel your Disney Plus subscription now, protest for a month or two or whatever, but when Mandalorian comes back, you're going to be there, aren't you? Even if anything, just so you can watch it and then, make videos ranting about it. I don't. Yeah. So no, I'm pleased to see that people here at least seem to mostly be keeping the faith. But again, MCU have got WandaVision was mostly wonderful, and they've got a lot coming up. But now I'm like kind of not anti, but I'm kind of like I don't want to see what we've seen before from MCU. I want to see more. I want more really original stuff like WandaVision. Dale, are you is your hair as long as I'm like imagining right now by choice, or was it forced upon you by the multiple lockdowns? Because I like long hair, but now I'm done. Open those barbers, Boris. Scooter still not in timeout. If you were put in timeout by mistake, I'm sorry, but it definitely wasn't me. Not knowing what I was doing. I don't know how to do it. So if it was me, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry, Mr. McDinglebury. Anyway, I agree. The Last Jedi put me off all of Disney Star Wars. I didn't even see Trath in the cinema, but you've seen it, I'm guessing now. You just didn't see it in the cinema, and I have no problem. Like if you didn't like The Last Jedi and it's left that sort of I guess bitter taste in your mouth, and there's people here like Alexandra as well. That is absolutely fine. But I suppose something like The Mandalorian, that's different. It's not in the same trilogy with the same characters at the moment. Anyway, I suppose that has the power to bring you back in, right? Because Scoots, you were definitely watching The Mandalorian. Alexandra, you were, I think. I know Scoots, you were in the comments for the reviews I was doing. Yeah, we'd all love a Greedo story in the future, but we can't be greedy right now. We've got enough on our slate plates. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Times are changing, Mr. Stokes. We've got Vigo behind me now. Vigs is in the shed. Right. Where am I? If there's anything I've missed, copy and paste it back in if you don't mind. It might have been an automatic. Well, that sounds just like you, doesn't it? Talking trash. But yeah, maybe I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is an automatic YouTube thing. Maybe it must be, I guess, or I did it without realizing I did it. But yeah, Alexandra Starr confirming that The Mandalorian was great. She saw it. Andrej, if Mando is influenced by Kathleen Kennedy's team, then I'm out. Also, this political situation is taking all the joy that was built by Mando up to chapter 16 with Luke. Yeah, that's fine. That's your choice. You know, I mean, I've said this before, like non-Star Wars politics become too the Brexit thing, right? I'm very much anti-Brexit, but now I just let it all go over my head, you know, because it was dominating my thoughts previously. You know, I was getting really whipped up about it and upset about it, and mostly because of the damage it was going to do, and has now been proven to do. I'm off again. I've got to stop. So yeah, I just now with politics like this, it's just man, keep it separate. Keep it separate. If you enjoy, see, I want to watch something like The Mandalorian or WandaVision to take my mind off, nasty politics. So I get that though. I get that at the same time. If it's ruined the fun for you, if it's left a bad taste in your mouth, then I get that. You have your right, to not want to see more. And I suppose KK is definitely going to be involved with everything on those slates that we've just gone through. I often do sound better when I'm muted, to be honest. Jane Flakes is here. Yes, you're here, but late. You're gonna have to watch the replay. Sounds like I've missed a good chat. I've loved all Star Wars movies, all 11, and got bored by MCU. You know what? Like, everyone has an opinion, and that's what makes YouTube so fun. Because we've had people who don't like certain Star Wars movies. We've had people here who even Stevens, I think that's a direct quote in regards to MCU and Star Wars, and we've had others on both sides. I'm slightly on the Star Wars side, but I want to see some more originality from Star Wars going forward. Amanda, I'm curious to see what they do with Cara Dune now. Don't know if a recast would work well. I don't think they are they? I think they've said this already. I don't know if, again, I switch off to all of this now, but I don't know if this has changed since when I last addressed the subject, but I believe they weren't going to recast her, and I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think this is likely to happen, but look at James Gunn. He came back. I think there is a small chance that things could be repaired in the future, and you get that kind of confusion of recasting a well-known character in the beginning. Think of a casual fan who's not following these politics. They're going to be confused by this new person who's actually meant to be an old person. And then obviously, once you've done that, you can't bring the original person back. And also, I think if they did recast it, it just prolongs the debate as well, because it's always going to be there, and people are always going to compare whoever the new person is to Gina Carano. So I'm pretty sure they've said they're not going to recast, and I think that's the right thing to do, to be honest. And also, don't kill her off, because I think that will cause some bad blood. And again, like I said before, there is a very, very small chance that they could sort this stuff out maybe one day. Bring her back, maybe. Who knows? I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm not saying that's what I don't want, but I'm just saying I think that's probably what they're going to do. Yeah, I know. I did see about this, though. I did see about the action figures being recalled and all that. What's Andrej? What are you saying here, Andrej? By the way, Mando did a great job keeping out of direct references, tie-ins to the sequel. Well, I think the Mandalorian's. I think Jon Favreau said this. It's going to take us pretty much up to the sequel. So those references, if they're not there at the moment, I mean, there was a few, wasn't there, in terms of the cloning, where it made you think of Snoke and obviously Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker. If there weren't any, I think there's going to be some soon. And if there were some already, there's going to be more soon. Right. I think we are Frogger's here. Hello, Frogger. I don't think they'll. It's probably too expensive to fire her. To be honest, I'm not. Not saying they should fire her, but if they were to fire her, it would probably be quite expensive. How long's she been at the company for? Think about that redundancy. I think she'll leave eventually. Because that's what people do. That's what people do. Froggers, good to have you here, though. Late though, mate. Very late. Dale. Final comments, by the way, because it's Chad's fault because he didn't show up. But let's see what Dale's got. I say it's Chad's fault. The time, 52 minutes. I'm seeing here. I collect Black Series Star Wars action figures. Hasbro announced that they've cancelled all Cara Dune figures, so the few that were released are fetching hundreds of pounds. Wow. So the black market for the Black Series is on fire right now. Yeah. Wow. Did you get a Cara Dune one, Dale? And if you did, would you sell it? Would you be tempted now for the big bucks on eBay? The eBay. Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. My mic's not on mute for once, or mute for that matter. I think all non-Brits would think I've just lost the plot there with what I said, but Brits who have seen the Toast of London will know I have not lost the plot on this occasion, at least. Hey, Matthew Stokes, thanks, mate. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know. I'm learning. On a mountain of skulls in a castle of pain, I sat on a throne of blood. What was will be. What is will be no more. Now is the season of Disney Plus. It's beautiful. Not beautiful when I completely muller it. These poetic words, but in theory, if it was read by someone who has poetic delivery skills, it would be even more beautiful. Hello, is there volume now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Clem Fandango? So I don't know what the last you heard me was, but thank you, Matthew Stokes. I don't know if you heard me completely muller the poem, but thank you for the super chat, and thank you on behalf of Vigo as well. He definitely appreciates the words there. I'm sure. I'm glad there's been appreciation for Vigs in the background, and also for Toast from Alexandra. No, mate, it's quite possible. It's quite possible that it's moving in the background because Vigo is real. All right, and he will leave that mountain of skulls eventually. But also, that blue tack ain't gonna keep for too long. No, I got those like sort of Velcro strip things, but then they're not great. So it probably is moving, i.e. falling slowly but surely. Didn't Clem Fandango swap to Star Trek? What, Matt Berry? Matt Berry's not in Star Trek. Unless I've missed something there. Oh, maybe I was saying that Matt Berry's not Clem Fandango. The Clem Fandango actors in Star Trek. Is that true? I don't watch Star Trek, so I don't know. But I will follow Clem Fandango wherever he goes. So if that's the case, James Flakes, please confirm. Yeah, sorry about the audio. I'm here now with all of the audio, so I don't know what I said. I don't know what you lost, but it probably wasn't great. The highlights of the show have been the 2 times the sound went. Yeah, Toast is great. I don't know if it's on US Netflix or anything. I think it is. But it's probably somewhere hidden, quite niche. But you should definitely definitely check out the Toast of London. You might know Matt Berry from is it In the Shadows, which Mark Hamill cameoed in. He's in that as well. He's very funny. He's very funny. If you've seen the IT Crowd, he's very funny. And I mean, he is Toast. And they're going to make a movie. They're going to make or is it a mini series it's a series where Toast goes to Hollywood. So that's been announced as well. Yeah, Ben Burt has been slacking in the sound department on this show at least, but I guess he's busy. Is he busy? Is he been cast out now from Lucasfilm? Because it's Matthew Wood seems to be the kind of main man these days. Is Ben Burt's reign over at the top of Skywalker Sound? But so the Clem Fandango actor was in Star Trek. Sorry. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll watch Star Trek. Maybe. All right, everyone. I'm sorry for all of the sound problems. I'm sorry for doing an almost 1 hour show. Thank you again to Mr. Matthew Stokes. Again from Vigo. He appreciates the words. Yeah, I do want to say as well. I do need to do this. I've forgotten recently. Thank you to all Patreon members as well. And I am coming back to the chat 'cause I can see some more messages popped up. But this is the part where I don't like. Was Ben Burt cancelled? I'm going to read up on this. I am going to. I'm at the part of the show where it's best you hang up because I hate saying goodbye. I'm like, no, you hang up. So just hang up on me, people, please. All right, just leave me here all alone, and then I will end the broadcast. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast anyway. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. No, thank you to you, Chad Campbell, wherever you may be. I dedicated this show to you essentially, and Skywalker Sound's here. Skywalker Sound is here with virtual hugs. And you got this emojis, which are not in the form of emojis, but I appreciate it. No, you hang up, Matthew Stokes, please. I need to read up on Ben. I do need to read up on this. I do need to read up on this. I noticed he was less involved. Is he not involved at all? Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know what? The way I'll sum these shows up one day, whenever I try and come up with a synopsis that no one will ever read, we start with a plan, but we certainly don't end with one. It's just whatever this is, isn't it? Really? Okay, everyone, thank you very much. I will see you all this time next week. We'll do it again. I'm sure there was something else I really, really needed to say, but I haven't a clue. So I'm going to hang up now because Lash D's here. I'm not going to hang up because Lash D's here. All right, that sounded bad. I'm sorry, Lash D. That's not why I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up because I've said I'm going to hang up for the last 10 minutes. I think now. Okay. I'm going to read up on this. Okay, so it wasn't a cancelled thing or anything like that. And that is, I hope he's well. I'm going to read up on that. We'll talk more next week. Send me a documentary about it, Simon, or something. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Oh, Amanda, thank you for subscribing as well. Yeah. Well, we'll do this next week. This time, and maybe we'll do less. Maybe we'll do longer. Who knows? But I'm going now. All right. No, seriously, I am going now. All right. End broadcast. Peter's here. Peter, sorry, I'm going now. But it was nice to see you. Be on time next week, please. Okay, 6 p.m. GMT.